Hi there, welcome to another Stellaris Dev Diary number 98. Fleet Manager. What can the Fleet Manager do? That's what we'll learn in this Dev Diary. So, as you can see here, you can build groups of fleets, and you can replenish fleets, and you have home bases. So that's all about the Fleet Manager. Let's go to the details. Fleet Manager is similar to, if some of you are playing EU4, you can create a fleet template and a stored configuration of what a fleet you want to look like. And the fleet templates keep track of not just ship sizes, but also of individual designs. So fleet template might be set up to contain 10 torpedo and 5 interceptor class corvettes alongside a mix of picket and gunboat style destroyers, for example. So they can be edited directly through the Fleet Manager without needing to build ships by, for example, deciding to add another 5 interceptor class corvettes to the above listed fleet. Templates can be created directly without making a fleet first and then reinforced to create the actual fleet, like similar template system to the species or to robots. We are also planning to add template duplication and copy-paste functionality in order to be able to quickly set up a new fleet or make your fleets conform to a desired standard. So that's really cool. Together with the new fleet functionality, that you have an admiral which has a fixed maximum number of ships controlled, you can build an extra fleet for that guy. Like for someone with high combat speed, you would go for like your killer corvette setup or something like that. Because that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, and you can just click reinforce if you lose some ships, or even if you, I think it, from the logical concept, it works like you build one thing from the fleet, or you just click build that template and they build you one template of that. So as an example, they're like built distributed like in EU4. If you know EU4, Europa Universalis 4, you can basically have an army there, and it's usually composed of, for example, foot soldiers and cavalry, and then you can say, hey, give me 10 foot soldiers, 5 cavalry, and the game will build it in all provinces around you. And that's the same. It works similarly. So what can we see here? One fleets need to be reinforced with 20 ships, can afford to reinforce 14 ships. So we get a lot of feedback too in the Fleet Manager. And reinforce all is a great save your time button. And of course micromanagement is always more effective, but the Fleet Manager is a great thing for the late game, where you have thousands and thousands of minerals lying around waiting for distribution. Let's see here, auto best and so on. Some things you need to know, that this thing is not how it will look in the game. Artists will change it. So it's not going to be functional anymore, it's going to be good looking. No, it's going to be both, I hope. So whenever a fleet is missing ships that are listed in its template, option exists to reinforce. We have done that, we have talked about that already. Can be done either from the Fleet Manager or directly from the fleet view itself. Here, similar to the repair button, you have a reinforce button now, or update, or to the update button. Issuing that command will start production of as many missing ships as you can afford at your current amount of minerals, so you can just begin with it. You don't need to wait for the full amount, which is cool. It will be automatically distributed among appropriately placed shipyards and sent to join and merge with the fleet once finished, which is really good, really helpful. In addition to the ability to reinforce fleets individually, there's also a reinforce all button, which will attempt to reinforce missing ships in all fleets up to the amount you can afford with your current level of minerals, and can be used to fully replenish your navy in a single click if you have enough resources on hand. Fleet Manager also offers the option to retrofit ship designs. Let's take the example of mixed interceptor and torpedo class fleet above. We have 10 torpedo and 10 interceptor class ships. If you decide that you no longer need the interceptors, you can use Retrofit to easily switch one class to another, selectively upgrading the interceptor class ships to torpedo-class ships. So that's really, really helpful, like in the late game, when you switch around, when you maybe adapt to an opponent, to a really overwhelming endgame crisis. You can adapt to these things really, really well. If you do your research, so to say, I mean, or if you just watch what they do after the first encounters, then this absolutely makes sense. So you can have hand-tailored fleets. And this opens up a lot of possibilities and a lot of fun. You can share your favorite fleet composition against this or that much easier now. And you could probably, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be feasible. Maybe you can save the fleet template and share it with your friends. Like if you're in a multiplayer game and you're up against, I don't know, a lot of dangerous opponents, just say, hey, I've got that template for you. It works best against these and these opponents, so we'll use that thing. We'll use that thing. Or one guy could go for the ship designs, the other could go for the fleet designs. That's really cool for multiplayer too. And of course, yeah, it helps. It speeds up the game. It leaves out things that you want to miss. I mean, like clicking through all your starports to build like 2 or 3 ships in each starport. That is not a fun situation. And that is being improved with the fleet manager. So, and there's also now home bases. The concept of home bases. Each fleet will be able to have a home base set. That reminds me of Civilization, with any friendly upgraded starbase being valid as a home base. This is where the fleet will return to when the return home order is issued, gets slight priority for actions such as reinforcing, though the focus is on distributing production sensibly rather than always using the home base, and is intended to tie into other fleet mechanics planned for Cherryh that we are not quite ready to talk about yet. Ooh, cool other fleet mechanics. Apart from the your small fleet is getting a bonus to speed against bigger fleets, right? Let's look at that. So returning to Tiffin Station, that is the home base. You can see here, and yeah, it will probably reinforce there, right? But it's now idle. What's that? So it's not idle, it's moving. Strange screenshot. Still. Very good. So all for today. Next week, talking about Cherryh on the topic of armies. I'm really into improving the invasion combat. That would be really very good, because right now it's, I don't know, it's showing off who has more production capacity or something like that. So there are going to be exciting things with the armies. Maybe you'll have troops you need to station on the planets. Maybe there will be like rebels too. I could imagine rebels. At the moment you have no rebels. You just put your invasion force there, and then you've taken over, and then you take your invasion force and go to the next planet, like completely. And if someone tries to invade that planet that you just invaded, then you have a militia on your side, strangely, from the people who are just being taken over, which absolutely makes no sense. They should have a militia that forms again and that puts up a fight against you. If you don't leave your troops behind, they should take back the planet, or should be able to take the planet at some chance, at least. So, about that. So, I've also collected all the info about 2.0 Cherryh update on a blog post that I'm linking in the end screen. So, if you're like into following that great development of 2.0 Cherryh, then just you can just bookmark the post. I'm regularly updating it. Like usually I'm 1 day late or something, but if you don't want to read the dev diary at the first minute it comes out, it's probably good enough for you. I'm also doing little summaries there, because I'm just very interested in the development of the game, and so, yeah, I want to share it, because a lot of people are also interested, but don't want to bother like looking at the dev diaries all the way. And there's also all the videos linked I've made, and yeah, it's just for ease of use, and of course the original dev diaries are also linked. So thank you for watching, and happy gaming to you. We'll see each other in another video on the channel. If you're interested in Stellaris, I would recommend you stay here on the channel too, from time to time. So we'd love to have you here, because there's a lot of Stellaris coming. So have a good time until then, and happy gaming. This is Immanuel Khan signing out.